Welcome back, friends. You're just in time for the Johnny Brew Show.
What's going on, everybody? My name is John Brookhagen, host of the Johnny Brew Show, and welcome to another important show. As I was logging in, I'll be the first to tell you right here, right now, as of 7 o'clock, 7:06 on Saturday night, Catherine Cortez Masto has been declared the winner over Adam Laxalt. I have seen the polls. Laxalt has been winning for the past 5 days from 35,000 votes down to 900 votes. I've never seen him behind, and now he's the loser. Apparently, I checked all the numbers right before we went to air to make sure I could bring you the freshest numbers, but nonetheless, there's other things we got to do. Coming up tonight, we're going to have a round table with Noah Malgeri, attorney, veteran, former congressional candidate, Michael B. Jack, the former vice chair of the Washoe County Republican Party, Tavorra Elliott, a political commentator and friend of the Johnny Brew Show. Also, we're going to have the Loud Majority, the Long Island Loud Majority, my guys from back in New York. All right, we'll talk all about Lee Zeldin and find out how New York did way more to help this country in this election than apparently Nevada did. All right. Also, let's hear from Infinity, the Math Institute, where you won't get more math problems. You will get solutions. Just text or call 702-768-1777. Play tape.
What's up, guys? We are Infinity, the Math Institute, located at 6370 West Flamingo Road by Torrey Pines Drive. You should come visit us or follow us on Facebook. The best tutors in Las Vegas are ready for you. Watch our videos on YouTube. And don't worry, kids, we also have Instagram. Best yet, call us at 768-1777. Because at Infinity, you don't get more math problems. You get solutions.
All right, and do you have that pic that I could show everybody? Guys, Alita Benson reached out to me and wanted me to let you guys know that we need to make sure your vote is counted, all right? I was just watching Brittany Sheehan, and she had a point. The Democrats right now, we have to cure ballots here in Nevada because of this mail-in ballot, a mail-out ballot, and system that we have. Not all the ballots pass the signature verification check. So they get put into a pile to be cured. So that gives the political parties an opportunity to find the people registered in their party to sign an affidavit proving that it's actually them who got this, who signed this ballot, which is actually not going to be counted unless we go through this process. All right, the culinary union, the teachers union, well, maybe not this time because Sisolak lost the CCEA, but nonetheless, all these Democratic organizations have huge organizations where they force them or suggest the union members do this. They suggest that everybody do this. And then they also, when absolutely necessary, like right now, when they're fighting for a Senate seat, you don't think they're flying people in and they're paying people like $20, $30, $40 an hour to do the, pick up the ballot harvesting, to canvass, and now to cure ballots and to do the signature verification. Well, Alita Benson needs your help. I mean, this is the best we got because we're not paying people. This isn't, the Democrats have got organization way better than us, which is one of the reasons why they win by these razor-thin margins. But make sure your vote is counted. There are thousands of ballots with technical errors that need voter action to ensure they are counted. So number one, you got to check your ballot status. The thing should be on the screen. You should be able to see it. But if you can, it says nevada.ballottracks.net/voter. Or to cure your ballot, especially if there's a problem, go to the Secretary of State website as SOS/cure Or best yet, just call the Clark County hotline ASAP at 702-455-6552. It's got to be by Monday at 5 p.m., so get on it. Guys, if you want to volunteer, reach out to the CCRP, Jesse Law. You can reach out to Sally Minster. If you can reach out to me if you don't know how to get in touch with any of those people. Also, you can get in touch with the NVGOP. That would include Alita Benson, as well as Mike McDonald, Joe McDonald, or anybody else. And if you don't know how to get in touch with them as well, you could reach out to me and I will forward you to that. All right, guys, we need people out curing other ballots besides their own ballots as well. All right, guys, you know that, we were really pushing for John Petrick and Sam Peters. They were both coming right down to the wire, and it appears Sam Peters has already conceded his race, unfortunately, and I'm not sure if John Petrick has conceded quite yet. I know he had to go take care of some business, and he's going to be back tomorrow, so maybe that's what he's going to do, but we're calling that race as well, and that's really sad. Two great people. And we're going to talk about reasons why people may or may not have lost. But this is John Petrick's video. Play tape.
Airman Freddie. I've been in Las Vegas for 23 years. I'm a Navy Desert Storm veteran. I'm here to support my dear friend and physician, Dr. John Petrick. He's an amazing soul, does amazing work. We team up together and do a lot of events in town in reference to veterans, which we do on a regular daily, weekly, monthly, yearly basis. It's a no-brainer to vote and support Dr. John Petrick. I myself only surround myself with people who are like-minded, who have a deep passion for our community. Actions speak louder than words, and that's exactly what John does.
That's it. All right, guys, so that's Dr. John Petrick, all right? So every time I'm thinking things are not so bad, I realize it really is, guys. It really is, all right? When we look at the races, we did take the governorship, all right? I've said I've supported Lombardo, everything else, but we all know, and we've been talking about, Brittany was just talking about it, how us people who love this country and us people who believe in the Constitution and really believe in this Make America Great Again, not because of Trump, but because of the country, because of the flag, because of the Constitution, because we want these candidates that wave the flag. They're the biggest patriots. And maybe Brittany's right. We're looking at this and it's not the biggest patriots that's winning these races. It's the milquetoast candidates. It's the people who don't go out and campaign as much. It's the people who aren't doing as much debating, as much rah-rahing. The people you don't see quite as much. I mean, you talk about Joe Lombardo, Stavros Anthony, super great friend of the Johnny Bruce Show. I love Stavros Anthony, right? But he is very non-controversial, right? You look at Andy Matthews, right? And I told you from the get-go, the most important races and my favorite candidates were Michelle Fiore, Jim Marchant, and Sigal Chattah. Well, those are the people in these statewide offices that are having the most trouble. And, it's really unfortunate. All of these races, I called all the races right. And then all the ones that were toss-ups, every single one, and they were like 50-50, not in the assembly, we'll get to that in a second, are going Democrat. There needs to be a better system. I don't understand. If this is the system, then we need to not release any information until we get all the votes in. Until like tonight, last night, Friday night. We can't come through with every single time. This happened last year in 2020, 2 years ago. We were at Trade Show Drive watching the thing, talking about, all of us lost our Facebook accounts because we were watching the vote and talking about this, and the whole country was watching when Trump was, we went to bed thinking Trump had won. Every single one. It's just a hold. The Republicans will have to have a 5-point lead the day after Election Day in order to hold on. I mean, if this is true, if the AP is truly reporting that Laxalt is lost, when I still haven't seen an election result where he was behind, it's ridiculous. Jim Marchant was way ahead. All right, I forget the numbers, but you look up the old Johnny Brew show. Now he is down by 1.56 points. Do we have the graphics on the races that we're still too close to call? Lombardo got the governor, Republican. Stavros Anthony, Republican, got lieutenant governor. Aaron Ford will retain the Democrat attorney general. We got Andy Matthews as controller. And then all of the election ones with the pictures of the people. The first one with James Marchant and Cisco Aguilar. They're right in order. Very good. So you'll see that James Marchant is now over 1.5 points behind. Michelle Fiore is over 1 point behind Conine for the treasurer. When both of them had pretty healthy leads on my original things, I said I predict they're going to hold these. Look right here. From just the previous episode, we were up 0.5 point and more than 0.5 point. And the episode before that, right after Election Day, they were up even more. We're all good? All right. And then you go to the county. All right. Wolfson, Democrat, the DA. Assessor, Johnson, Democrat. Administrator, Reed, Democrat. County clerk, Goya, Democrat. Recorder, Conway, Democrat. Treasurer, Diaz, Democrat. Even that treasurer was supposed to maybe lean Republican, didn't get that. I was furious a couple days ago, and I apologize because I said only Katie Williams was the only Republican on a countywide seat. And a couple of Drew Johnson supporters set the record straight, and then Drew Johnson himself set the record straight. Thank you, and I apologize. Our county commissioners will not be 7 out of 7 Democrat. Drew Johnson, as of right now, if we have that up, has a 0.5 point lead over Justin Jones. And I don't know what's going to happen. That's the only toss-up that is still in Republican favor. And Johnson was way ahead a little while ago. So we will have 6 out of 7 commissioners are Democrat, and we'll have Drew Johnson, the lone Republican. If that lead holds up, you see it's only about 500 votes out of 102,000 votes. And Katie Williams will be the lone conservative voice on the school board. Otherwise, it's all Democrats here in Clark County. And we have to talk about that. But we have to get moving, all right? We have, hold on one second. Yeah, we'll talk about that with our roundtable coming up, all right? And we're going to talk about some of these national things. What I really want to do is I want to get my friend Kevin Smith on from the Long Island Loud Majority. Is Kevin ready in the green room? Kevin Smith is the Johnny Brew Show in New York, except for one thing. He's got like 30,000 followers, and we are just about to hit 2,000. We got throttled when we started the Johnny Brew Show. They started right at the right time, and the people in New York got behind them big time. Hey, what's going on, Kevin? Welcome back to the Johnny Brew Show. How you doing?
Good. Thanks for having me on.
Good, man. Thanks for having. We've been following you. I've been sharing all you guys' stuff from that recent, about a week ago. I think you had the Lee Zeldin with the Ron DeSantis. Your buddy had the drone up. I know he's into the camera work. And you guys, I know that picture went all across the country. I know Lee Zeldin lost, but I think most of the country is aware he did a lot of good. But I don't think people really know the details of how good he actually, what a difference he made in the country. You want to tell the people what you were saying yesterday on your podcast? And also, I'm from Long Island just like you. It looks like Long Island's really turning red. Tell me about that as well.
Well, at the time of this, it's 10:20 on the East on Saturday night, and Fox was just called the race for your Democrat senator out there in Nevada, which leads at a 50-50 Senate, which really makes what Lee Zeldin did even more important. You know, I don't think people truly understand that Zeldin, like the soldier that he sacrificed himself for this country, he he basically bit the bullet so that New York could pick up 4 additional congressional seats, which might be the only thing to say going forward in this next Congress. We picked up 2 seats on Long Island. We picked up 1 in Hudson Valley, beating the head of the Triple C, Sean Patrick Maloney, which has never happened before.
Oh, nice.
And we picked up a congressional seat just outside of Buffalo in Governor Kathy Hochul's own backyard.
So overall, how many congressional seats are in New York?
At the moment, there's 28, and I believe they're split down the middle.
So we were down. How many did we gain this past election?
4.
Congratulate. I truly believe you guys had a big deal with that. I see you guys going to the Whitestone Republican Club. I see you guys having the events all the way from Montauk to inside of Manhattan. I know. Is it you or Sean who doesn't like to go into Manhattan?
Sean doesn't go to Manhattan. I'll handle that.
I used to like to go to Knick games, but that was it.
Oh yeah, well, I mean, I stopped going to Knick games around Allen Houston retired, but they haven't been good ever since. But it's no, I don't know. I feel like we have to dive more into the belly of the beast in the 5 boroughs. We picked up great seat queens. We were able to take back in our state assembly and our state senate, which is going to be huge for preserving at least somewhat of what you had. I know us as the arrogant New Yorkers believe that we're the greatest state in the country, but we haven't really lived up to that recently. But I think that Lee Zeldin really took the bullet for a lot of us. And
well, I think you did.
I'm biased. He's a friend of mine. He's been a Long Island Congress for 12 years. He's always been good to us. But I think that when we start to get to the next Congress, we're going to
I don't know if you know this. When I used to live in Suffolk County, Zeldin was the Suffolk County commissioner after some guy named Levy or something, and then he went to Congress. So I know Zeldin's been in the mix ever since I moved out of Long Island in 2005, and he was very active even back then. And I know that, he's been serving. He's not this new brand patriot. He's been serving in government all this time, and he's had this longevity in New York. So that really is a testament. What's going on now, like more locally, like with the school boards and stuff? Any news there?
Well, school board season just kicking off. We're getting started for that. It took about a week off. Or I don't know, maybe 20 hours a day for the last spectacular. But if they're traversing the school, we had to do. But school is going to start up. We have our elections in 2023.
That's incredible. I mean, here in Clark County, I know I've seen you guys, the whole country's talking about Clark County, and, all of Nevada is red. You know what I mean? And I truly think they must have done the most amazing job when they redistricted in order to make sure that Nevada is like all red except for Clark County, yet they find a way to do the electioneering or the gerrymandering such that we could get 3. They gave one guy all of the Republicans, and they try to give him 100% Republicans and then try to split up the other 3 because they had a majority in the Senate, they had a majority in our assembly, and they had the governor. So they were able to rewrite the district lines however they wanted, and it cost us at least 1 congressional seat because Nevada's red except for Clark County.
Well, that's what we deal with here in New York. We lost the 5 boroughs, we lost Buffalo, we lost Rochester, and we lost Syracuse. And everything else went red. I mean, New York is so red that Elise Stefanik is the number 3 in charge of the Republican Party in the House. She's from, so obviously there's got to be something to it. My thing with Clark County that I don't know, maybe I'm missing something here, but isn't everything in Las Vegas automation and counting? They should just have craps dealers counting all the ballots.
Well,
because
true.
Those guys can count the chips like nobody's business.
Well, even when they say in Arizona, oh my God, we got 45,000 ballots left. Get 45 people who can count to 1,000. Will be done by 8 p.m. I don't understand. What do you mean you got, and I understand one thing is that they have these processes set up in Arizona and Nevada. They're set up to take over a week. It's just set up that way through the legislature. I don't know how that ever went through. And thank goodness we're not waiting to find out who's going to win in Alaska, because it really seems it's going to take a month. And I don't know if you know, we just passed the first step to getting the same voting procedure that they have in Alaska here in Nevada, if it passes the ballot measure again in 24.
No, that's spectacular. France finished their election counting in 45 minutes. And the French take forever to do everything. The one to learn from France, not militarily, but learn their voting system, learn how they count, and just do that. Florida called their election in like 25 minutes. And they did it in Kansas County. It wasn't like it was just a DeSantis race, which we knew was going to be, he was, you know what, we'll put it this way. DeSantis was so safe that 5 days before the election, he was on the ground.
Yup. What I love about you guys' show, and you guys could catch it on loudmajority.us.com. What is it?
Loudmajorityus.com.
Very good.
We're on Rumble. We're on rumble.com/loudmajority. We're on facebook.com/loudmajority.
And if you guys just hit in Google Long Island Loud Majority, or you follow the Johnny Brew Show, you'll get it. But what I was gonna say is, I love about your show is, Sean loves the photography and he loves the meteorology, and you're a big history buff, and you were actually a political science major over at Stony Brook, right?
Oh yeah, actually, let's go. There you go. Check that out. There you go.
Beautiful, beautiful. Was that worth the $100,000 you spent on it?
It wasn't worth this $8 frame I got.
My little sister went to Stony Brook.
If there's anyone out there watching who's a poli-sci major, just don't. Watch PragerU videos, or watch the Loud Majority show. You'll learn everything you need to know.
Right, get involved. Get involved.
That's, it's so funny, because I was telling my cousin, he went to school for small business management. And I said, instead of going to school for small business,
open a small business.
Open a small business. Like, I learned a small business management degree from opening a business. I could learn politics just by going to my local campaign office and volunteering.
That's awesome, man. I mean, that's what we're trying to do here. You guys are a little bit ahead of me here, but we got a bunch of people. We need to get, like I said, I don't know if you heard it. We got the culinary union. We got the teachers union, and they all work in force for the Democratic Party. The Republicans are counting on people like me to organize some curing votes and signature verifications and getting some volunteers, and they're just super organized, and we need to really start stepping up our ground game here.
Well, I think when it comes to early voting and mail-away balloting, I think it's time for Republicans to realize that this is not going away. I don't like it. You don't like it. Nobody watching this one. We've got two options. We can either bitch moan, or we can beat them at their own game.
Right. We either got to throw a tantrum, or we got to decide to play the game the way it's set up.
Because look, once we play their game, we're better at this.
Yep.
We're motivated, and there's more of us. So it's time for Republicans to enter the 21st century and cut the 1990s George Bush era Republicanism out, where it's all about tax cuts and judges and the Federalist Society. It's time to start fighting the culture war, fighting it on the ground every day in the trenches, or we're going to keep losing.
All right. And that's why we got to start promoting each other and make sure that the conservatives can get news from other people besides just the local Fox affiliate or CNN or whatever. But thanks so much for coming by, man. I really appreciate it. We're going to keep up with you guys. I hope you guys aren't planning on giving up the fight. We got 2024, and I can't wait to hear what you guys need to say about this whole DeSantis-Trump thing. I think it's so ridiculous. We need to all come together, especially for this Senate runoff.
Well, I've sat back and I'm going to wait until Tuesday with the big announcement. We're going to see what happens there because who knows? Trump could pull a rabbit out of his hat and go, "I'm announcing the next president of the United States." Rock.
Let's see what happens. Trump has been known to surprise us before, right? All right, Kevin Smith.
You know what? If there's one thing about him, you never know.
Kevin Smith, the Long Island Loud Majority, bro. Thank you so much.
Thanks, man.
All right, guys. Yeah, so again, these guys are a big inspiration to me. They started a little bit before me, and like I said, I started the day that Rush happened to pass away. That was the final straw that broke the camel's back, but the Long Island Loud Majority was part of that, and that is literally right where I come from, guys. So anyway, now a portion of the show that I'm really excited about. I've been looking at some of these exit polls, and they took a whole bunch of exit polls, and I could not believe that we are remaining a blue county for sure, and somewhat a blue state, while people feel this way. So I want to bring on a couple of great patriots. You talk about great patriots, and talk about some of these exit polls, all right? Do we got everybody in the waiting room? 3 for 3? All right, well, number one, all three of these people are up. Two of these people, who do we got right there? We got Noah and we got Tavorra. How about Michael B. Jack? All right, Michael B. Jack was in the green room. He's going to be coming back in 1 second, but one at a time. We got Noah Malgeri, former guest of the Johnny Brew Show, former congressional candidate, attorney, veteran, patent attorney. The list goes on and on. Great face game, good looking. He's got it all. How are you, Noah?
Johnny, great to be on with you again. Great to see you, and thanks for all you do.
Oh, thank you, man. Also, we got Tavorra Elliott. She was here. She ran for CCSD's school board trustee, and she was part of the debate. And at that debate, there were two. Everybody did great, but there were two winners. And Tavorra and Greg Weeman were the two big winners. Greg Weeman had the experience factor, and Tavorra said so many things that resonated with the viewers that she scored a lot of fans that day. I know that, I appreciate her coming back. Welcome back, Tavorra. I'm having trouble hearing you, Tavorra. You got yourself muted.
Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure to be back again. Thank you so much.
Beautiful. And is Michael B. Jack there? All right. If Michael B. Jack jumps in, we'll introduce him as soon as he gets back. I have a feeling he will be. He was here in the green room just a second ago, guys. But let's jump right into it, all right? First thing I wanted to say to you guys is that do you have the pictures of the questions? Hold on 1 second, guys. And also, really quick, some people want to know, what are you guys going to be doing now that this election? What's next for Noah Malgeri?
Well, Johnny's back to work. I'm an attorney working hard, trying to get folks' rights, access to justice, and so forth. It's a passion of mine. One of the biggest reasons I got involved in politics in the first place. So that's what I'm busy with. And of course, I got 2 young kids, which are the joy of my life, and just living life.
And Tavorra, what are you going to be doing next?
Of course, it's back to work. We have to continue to see our family. But when it comes to politics, our candidates are already announcing that they're going to be running. And so it's my continued support to offer to them to give any assistance that can be as they start to.
All right, Tavorra, and if I could just make a suggestion, if you're on your phone, if you go closer to the router, it'll probably give us a cleaner audio.
Okay.
Awesome. And then we got Michael B. Jack here. He was once on the Johnny Brew Show as well. He is the former vice chair of the Washoe County Republican Party. Hey, Michael, it's good to see you again. And how you been? What are you up to?
It's good seeing you again. Thank you for having me on the show. And I am about a month away from completely retiring, and I'm looking forward to that.
So does that mean we're never going to hear from you again, or you're completely retiring from professionalism and you're going to be full-time in politics?
I don't think I'll be full-time in politics, but I'll keep my finger in the game.
Good. You keep your toe in the water for us?
Yeah, that too.
Good, Michael. Good, good. All right. And we got those questions ready? The first question from the exit poll that I wanted to ask you guys about is, generally speaking, would you say things in this country are headed in the right direction or wrong direction? And in Nevada alone, 75% of people said wrong direction, yet we maintained all 4 of our congressional seats. They also said, do you expect life for the next generations of Americans to be better, worse, or the same? Only 21% said better, yet 56% said worse, and 23% said the same. Noah, what do you think about those numbers, and how come you don't think that we voted for change here in Nevada when people feel like things are going in the wrong direction?
So I'm 100% unequivocally and unapologetically what you would call an election denier. So there's no possible way you'll ever convince me that with exit polls like that, which are a powerful piece of circumstantial evidence that indicates the way people are going to vote, that we had those results that they just announced. Catherine Cortez Masto now won the Senate over Adam Laxalt. You've got to be kidding me. These people are so over the top. I mean, they don't care. They're audacious. The audacity of the cheating that I believe takes place. I believe both party leadership are in cahoots on this. I think these folks are picked and selected. I think it's cheating fraud. They're criminals, in my estimation, in my personal opinion, need to be brought to justice. And they're exposing themselves to massive civil liability, not just criminal liability, not just if the sheriff of Clark County wants to investigate you, because he ain't. But I'll tell you what, there's civil liability too. If we get some whistleblowers who come out and start telling some stories and singing, there could be some hundreds of millions of dollars, tens of millions of dollars in lawsuits against individuals who defrauded candidates and voters.
Well, no, I'll tell you, first of all, thanks for getting me kicked off of YouTube. If you guys are watching, that feed is about to shut down, so you can go over to Rumble where they don't censor us. Number 2,
Yep.
I got another exit poll question that makes us realize that you are not the only person who feels this way. Tavorra, would you consider yourself an election denier?
Well, repeat the question again. I was trying to get a little bit closer to the route. Will I deny that the election was legitimate?
It's still a little bit rough. If you make it just a little bit closer, hopefully we'll be able to get you clear. We'll get Michael B. Jack's response.
Can you hear me a little better now?
Yeah, that does sound a lot better, actually.
Okay. Are you asking me, do I feel like the 2020 election was legitimate?
You could interpret it as that. Go ahead.
I do feel that our own President Biden has stated that the election had complications and that it was not as fair as it should be. He can completely deny that there has been some truth to the fact that Trump said that the election was not fair. So we know that it's a flawed system. And we can't always blame the messenger because we don't like communicate. We know that we have problems with our elections. We know that we need to work harder to make voting easier and as well as to make it more fair.
Well, I think, perception is just as important as the true legitimacy about that. But bringing it back to the original question, Michael, do you think that this correlation, does this confuse you, the correlation between the steadiness of our congressional representatives, but the obvious feeling that we're headed in the wrong direction?
I think we are headed in the wrong direction. First of all, if you got to look at the numbers. I'm getting a lot of feedback from your side, but
I'm sorry.
If you look at,
that's why I wanted to do a rehearsal.
Go ahead.
I'm sorry. We could hear you just clear. I'm sorry.
Okay. Yeah, I'm just getting an echo is what I'm getting.
Yeah,
anyway,
one of the guests, I don't know if it's Tavorra or Noah. We heard Tavorra, if you have the feed on in another room or on your phone or open on your phone, we're going to all get some feedback. Or maybe Michael, it might even be you. If you were watching it before, then you would have to mute.
I shut everything else down.
Thank you.
Nobody has YouTube or Rumble open, right?
Tavorra?
You got to close
We
it.
don't have anything like that here.
Okay. But you're still getting it, Michael?
No, it's better, much better. Thank you.
Okay, great.
Wow.
Anyway, so yes, if you remember the question.
I do. You know, when I was watching the news on election night, several of the news outlets were surprised at the same thing. There were so many polls getting close to the election that said everybody believed we were going the wrong direction, and yet everybody was voting the same way, and they were as perplexed as I am.
Yeah, and up in Washoe County, I know that like they had the problem with the cameras going off. Was that just a freak thing? It appears that it was just a horrible freak coincidence. Is that what you're seeing up there?
Yeah, I think so.
You're not suspecting any
Nope.
malfeasance?
It's not a coincidence. It was not a coincidence. The reason this is the number one issue in America. It's the number one issue nationally for sure. It is the most significant, important, critical issue in the country. Every other issue, whether it's the border, the economy, the COVID response, whatever, you take your pick. CRT, you take your pick. Trans ideology, wokeness, the deterioration of the military, threshold to thermonuclear war on a global scale, the systematic destruction of the middle class. Every single one of these issues finds its root in election fraud. That's if you don't, and you know what? When I watch pundits on TV, I don't know, exasperation. We can't believe that people are voting this way. Maybe they're not.
You know,
I will agree that along the way that there is some election fraud. There's been election fraud ever since Washington was elected. The first election.
Michael, no.
What I'm saying is that in Washoe County, I don't think that little glitch was election fraud.
Why? Why not? Why do you think that? What's your basis?
I mean, there's only so many coincidences.
I know most of the people that are in that office, and I don't think there was.
Well, that's what I'd like to hear, Michael. You do know people who work in that office that left a half hour later, it broke. They showed up the next morning and they fixed it right away. They provided the camera feed from around the building and everything else. You know these people in your heart of hearts. You're pretty sure that this is the thing?
Yeah, I think so in this case. Now, in Las Vegas, I wouldn't say that.
Okay, and Noah, you respectfully disagree, don't you?
I'll tell you what. Let's start from the beginning. Why are there cameras in the building in the first place? To make sure that nothing untoward takes place. But in the absence of a camera, comfortable saying that nothing untoward took place. Well, that's the reason the cameras are supposed to be there. You can't say that it was or it wasn't. We want that.
The problem with your argument is that those cameras are there all the time.
And it's all fraud.
Right, they weren't set up specifically for the election. They're up in that building.
There was nobody in the building at the time that there was a glitch.
Got you. But isn't anybody monitoring it or watching it and making sure that no problem, so that way they could jump up and
the security people in the building.
So they didn't notice that the camera wasn't working?
They did, and they went to work trying to get it fixed. All
right, moving on. Thinking about voting in this election, how important was abortion to you? 25% of voters here in Nevada said that abortion was the single most important factor, even though there's no way to change abortion law in Nevada without the people themselves voting on it. And 40% of people said it was important, but not the most important, meaning 65% of people are voting based on abortion. My question for you guys is twofold. Number one, how can this be when abortion is not on the ballot at all? And number two, how do you feel when 65% of the Nevadan population is considering abortion as a major factor when really the subject of abortion is, I'm sorry, I don't want to get too evangelical, but I feel like our society is deteriorating when casual sex and using abortion as birth control and it is like the number one political thing on people's mind. I mean, does that disgust any of you? And do you think our society is devolving, or am I getting a little too biblical with this? Tavorra, I'll let you go first.
Abortion was legalized in 1973. Since that time, there have been 44 million abortions. Out of those 44 million abortions, about 3 million of those abortions have been people of color. The clinics are strategically placed in Black and Hispanic neighborhoods. So it's almost as if they're targeting autistic people. You can say that you don't want to talk about abortion, but you have to look at how many of the citizens have been to abortion. You can use an abortion up to 6 months into pregnancy. I think abortion should not be a thing that we should have to fight over. But you don't understand that it has to have some sort of regulation. It's not something that you can just say people can have and not have. You need to regulate it. If you have an abortion at 6 months, you need to be pregnant at 3 months.
Right, and I feel like that's the Republican message, or should be the Republican message. I mean, me as a Christian, I don't like any abortions. But if somebody's going to get an abortion, I want them to do it sooner. And I'm sorry, Tavorra, we're having just a little bit of audio problems. Can you hear me?
Yeah, it sounds like somebody's still got the tab open.
Yeah. Can you mute your thing just for 1 second, Tavorra, while Noah answers the question? Thank you. Noah.
So, I mean, for me, it's a wash in terms of manifestation and electoral outcomes, because you're right. 25% of the people in the exit polls say they're passionate. It's the number one issue. But guess what? A lot of them are conservative, and they're absolute right to lifers. I mean, it's a human right issue. The number one human right is the right to be alive, right? I mean, every baby in the womb is pro-life. I'll tell you that. Just like, there's no atheists in a foxhole, and there's no babies in the womb who are pro-choice. But I got to tell you, it's a wash, because we just went to the First Choice Pregnancy Center annual gala, my wife and I, a couple nights ago. They had 700 people there. You're raising $500,000 in a night.
With all due respect, I don't mean to interrupt, but I heard you made a big donation to them, and that's really nice of you.
Well, that's what I'm saying. People are passionate about this issue on both sides, and the reality is it washes out. But honestly, that's what the Dems used as a canard, as a distraction, as to give some legitimacy to the preposterous outcome that they claim happened in this election. That's completely implausible, that no one believes. You're going to believe me, or you're lying eyes, right? I mean, nobody believes it, so they have to have some issue, because there's not a single issue that they're winning on, right? So they say, well, let's say abortion, your rights are under attack, and we're going to say that a record number of single female voters went out for Dem. Maybe, but all the single females I know who are super pro-life are out there on the streets praying with people. That's their number one issue too. So that's right. A wash.
Well, I mean, it seems that we're making big headway with the African Americans, with Latinos, with married suburban women, which apparently were the people who got Trump kicked out of office. But now it's like a 37 or 47 point advantage with single women because of this abortion issue. Michael, what do you think about the abortion issue with the way people voted on it when it wasn't an issue at the ballot? And you can unmute yourself, Michael.
Sorry, I agree with what the gentleman was saying before me. It's a left issue that they're bringing up. It's a shiny object to take everybody's attention off of what the other problems, the fixable problems, are in this country that the Republicans or the Democrats do not have answers to or solutions to.
Very good. All right, and then moving on, when you look at the COVID pandemic, we all, as Republicans, seem to think that we were going to really take over this election because of the tyranny and the overreach of people like Governor Sisolak and Democrats pretty much across the state and country. Yet, when thinking about the way your local public schools responded to COVID-19, would you say the response went too far not far enough, or was it about right? And let's remember, we closed our schools for a year and a half, all the way until August of 2021. We shut down all tutoring, nursing centers, everything having to do with education went totally distance. Yet 40% of people say the COVID response did not go far enough. Oh no, 40% when it said it went too far. And 15% said it didn't go far enough, and 45% said it was about right. So 60% of people thought it was about right, or they could have even gone even further, which is maybe another reason there wasn't as much of a backlash. Michael, up in Washoe, what did people feel about education and keeping the schools closed? I know Clark County schools were closed. Were Washoe County schools closed all of that year? You're muted again, Michael.
Sorry, but people. We were shut down just as long as everybody else. Parents were very upset. School teachers were very upset. But it was Sisolak's order. It came from the state. The school board up here is primarily Democrat. So.
And what happened in this election? Did any conservatives win school board trustee seats in Washoe?
One.
Well, that's one more than us here in Clark, Michael. So Godspeed with that. We only had one conservative on the ticket. Tavorra tried, and she lost to Greg Weeman. Weeman was the only conservative of 3 seats, and unfortunately, he lost to Linda Cavazos. So we got 6 out of 7 progressives on our school board. Anyway, Tavorra, what do you think about the COVID? Remember, we've been talking about education and them closing down the schools. Are you surprised that 60% of people thought it was just about right, or maybe could have even been more lockdowns?
No, when you have a situation that you've never been in before, you do the best you can to keep moving forward. And I feel as Nevadans, we did that. We moved forward. School happened to be safe haven, and we have people who still have to go to work, and they needed those children to go to school. They didn't have a place that they could take them because they were essential workers. So feel that they made some type of space for those who needed to be there. But we talk about something that you never been through before. We come out of it as best as we could. I think that we did our excellent job.
And very good. And Noah, if we're going to get a little nuts with this one too, if the people with the New World Order and the World Economic Forum are hearing that we could have gone even further with this stuff, should we brace ourselves for the next emergency?
Well, it just goes to show how effective the campaign of gaslighting and lying to America with a bunch of nonsense propaganda, fake science has been. But now the data are in. It's conclusive. Lockdowns don't work. Keeping kids out of school destroys their educational progress, their momentum. It creates developmental delays that they're going to plague them for the rest of their lives. The second and third order effects of this disastrous, inhuman policies of lockdowns, particularly for children, mandatory compulsory vaccinations to hold the job, and lockdowns and so forth, are going to be felt for generations to come. It's disgusting what was done, and because of that full court press, because the folks who run Big Pharma is so powerful, they run the government. The government doesn't regulate them. Big Pharma regulates the FDA. Okay, Big Pharma regulates the CDC. It's not the other way around. So they don't care what happens to us. They care about getting rich.
Right, and the most upsetting thing for me is that in the 1910s, I forget the name of the flu, but we had a big virus going around in the 1910s during World War I. I think it even happened during the same time. And they did tests, and they realized masks and social distancing, neither one of them worked. And we've believed that science for 100 years until 2020 when we tried to do it all over again proving it doesn't work. Moving on, we got 2 more questions for you guys. For each of the following, please say if you have a favorable or unfavorable opinion. So in this country, 6% of people have a favorable view of both Trump and Biden. 15% of people have an unfavorable view of both. Otherwise, 43% of Nevadans have a favorable view of Trump and not of Biden, while 36% of Nevadans have a favorable view of Biden and not that of Trump. Now, you know, talking about the news, social media, just even at the restaurants or at Vegas Golden Knights games, it's almost taboo to come out strong as a Make America Great Again Republican, but everybody can wear Antifa, BLM, or any kind of Democrat pro-choice and my body, my choice. You could do political propaganda for the left all day, but it's really taboo to kind of do anything on the right in public. Meanwhile, we find out there's more people in Nevada, 7 or 8% more Nevadans like Trump and don't like Biden than vice versa. So why is it that the minority gets to suppress the majority? It's kind of a weird juxtaposition, Tavorra. Don't forget to unmute, and thank you for muting when you're not talking.
I think that because the Democrats make it very hard for anybody that could be considered a person of color to say that they want to be Republican. The president himself has said, if you're not Democratic, then you're not black. But you don't own the vote. And we have the right to choose anywhere we want to choose.
Yeah, and they used to say that if Republicans ever got more than 10% of the black vote, they would be unbeatable. And I think now we're approaching almost like 18, 19%, and we're still losing elections. It's not adding up to me.
No.
I mean, more people have to be able to stand by their convictions when they go to the ballot. They have to be able to say, this is what I want to do, and not feel as if someone is saying them for having that type of opinion, when in fact they do.
And Noah, when people are looking at you like you're a freak with your America first and, Make America Great Again attitude, and then you find out that more Nevadans feel like you than they do feel about Biden, does that make you feel better or worse, Noah?
It makes me feel good, but it's very disappointing to me because they don't have the courage of their convictions. The problem is, when I made phone calls during the campaign, I called people all over the state and all over the country, frankly, to try to raise money. They would tell me, look, I agree with you. I agree with you, but you're not going to win. Now, because you're too extreme, even though, and I was identified as one of the top 10 most MAGA or dangerous Republicans in the entire country in any race by the liberal media in this cycle. And I wear that proudly. I'm not a Trump guy. I'll be honest with you. I think Trump's days his utility and his usefulness are exhausted now. He needs to step aside. He's on net. He's more of a negative and a drain on the party and the movement that he created than a benefit. He needs to get out of the way. I'm 100% MAGA, but the reality is a lot of people are. Everybody is. Any parent, talk to a parent. Give me a break. Like, it's just common sense. MAGA is just like moderate Democrats from 1995. MAGA is moderate Democrats from 1995.
And what about you, Michael? Do you think up north, I'm starting to get a feel that Washoe is about as 50-50 as you're going to get as far as red and blue. Obviously, Clark is blue. The rest of Nevada is red. And Washoe seems to, be like the swing county of Nevada, for lack of a better term. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, you're absolutely right. For all the years that I was involved in politics up here, there was never more than 5,000 votes between Republicans and Democrats, and we would kind of trade places over, the course of a year.
I think that's the better thing. And, nationally speaking, not so much here on the state level, but nationally speaking, I think we're going to have regardless of what happens in the Senate, being that the Democrats have the presidency, we have the House, it's going to be a tight Senate, to say the least, regardless of who's got the advantage. So at least that should slow things down, and that's pretty much the way the system was set up. So that way we could have some back and forth, and, nothing could gain too much momentum unless it was truly the right thing to do, such as, say, the Civil Rights Act of the 60s.
Exactly.
All right, and then let me finish with this, and let's get your opinion on this. Proving that Noah Malgeri is not, again, a crazy person. 36% of Nevadans said that they do not believe that Joe Biden was legitimately elected. 36%, more than 1 in 3 Nevadans do not believe Joe Biden was. Yet we are not allowed to say that online. If Noah didn't get me kicked off earlier, I just got myself kicked off. But it's a poll. It's what people think. It's an issue. It's an election issue. It was one of the top 3 Republican issues during the primaries. Did you believe that we needed to fix it? Jim Marchant now looks like he's going to end up losing, but that's what he ran on, and he didn't hide from it. He didn't try to sugarcoat it. What do you think about the media suppression? What do you think when you hear that so many Nevadans agree that Biden was not legitimately elected? Is that a problem that we can't really say that? Tavorra?
The president himself has said it. He has questioned the legitimacy of his own presidency, and he can't clearly come out and deny that there wasn't some things that weren't quite right. And so therefore, they're moving towards making laws to make sure that we don't have those same issues moving forward.
Well,
so he even himself knows. But what you can't do is blame the messenger for the message. Trump said that he didn't feel it was fair. He didn't feel that that was legitimate, that it was due to him. And we've seen this done before. So it's not like it's the first time that we've had some sort of, where it's just, it's not legal, it's not right, and we didn't want Trump to be the president again, and so he wasn't the president again, and now we have Biden.
And then obviously federalizing it will make it worse.
Yeah.
Michael, what do you think?
Things are going to get worse.
I mean, I know you visited this question before, but more so the angle of Nevadans believe this, and you're not allowed to say it on Facebook or YouTube. You're not allowed to even say it on the news when it's something that people feel. It's real. Michael?
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't know you were talking to me. I agree. See, the problem, though, is who controls the media? Right? It's
or social media.
They don't want us talking about it. I'm sorry?
Or, yeah, the mainstream media, social media, any kind of media, from magazines to TVs to YouTube and socials. Twitter. Not so much anymore, though.
Exactly.
But it's such an important issue because we don't live in a democracy. We have a representative democracy, and the only opportunity we get to exercise our voice is when we elect our representatives. So if there's 36% of the people who say he wasn't legit, that doesn't say, are you not sure or you think it could be better? That's 36% of people saying, no, it was wrong. How can we have a representative democracy if the people don't believe their votes count?
Well, first of all, I don't believe we have a representative democracy. We have a constitutional representative republic. A democracy is horrible, and it terrifies me. So many people are calling our nation, our political system, a democracy, because a democracy is one step away from anarchy or one step away from totalitarianism.
And indeed, I did misspeak. I'm sorry.
Getting back to the 36%, we're being told we're being blocked out, and we're being blocked out by the people who want to control the mob.
All right, and if a mob rule, I mean, just think about it. 2 years ago, we would have wiped out every single policeman across the country if we listened to mob rule.
That's right.
All right, Noah, I saved you for last. I'm going to give you this softball. If we didn't get kicked off of YouTube yet, bring me home.
I think that was tactically smart to save me to last, Johnny. I get that for your own self-interest. But I got to tell you, the reality is the truth defends itself, right? You don't have to enforce narrative control about whether or not water is wet. If I go around saying water is dry, it doesn't matter. People laugh at me because it's obviously not, right? On the other hand, if something's obviously a lie, you don't have to censor it, right? You don't see YouTube censoring the videos that say the Earth is flat, do you? Is the Earth flat? No. But there's thousands of videos on YouTube that say the Earth is flat, and they're really serious. They believe it. Now, why don't they censor that? Because it's false. The truth defends itself. You don't need to censor narrative control unless what you're trying to do is tell people lies. So it's just so easy. And by the way, the mainstream media and big tech is just campaign apparatus for the Democratic Party. That's all it is. And the Democrat Party is just a policy organization of the deep state, the Western security state apparatus that controls everything. So literally, mainstream media, big tech, academia, entertainment industry, you name it, they all work for the same interests that are trying to enslave us, impose totalitarianism, take away our rights, and exploit our children. So freedom-loving individual Americans who believe in personal autonomy, self-determination, and freedom really have their work cut out for them. If you're not in the fight right now and you believe in freedom and you care about your kids, you're wrong. You need to get in the fight because the time is short, the hour is late, and we're already too late for this fight.
Indeed. And Noah, thank you for being so honest, and thank you for being you. I mean, I know we met, I thought you were a great patriot, and, you sure do believe what you believe, and you're not afraid to say it. I'm going to give you each of you one last question. I want to know from each of you if you are happy or sad about the election and who deserves the credit or blame. Tavorra, you get to go first.
I am not all that pleased that Cortez Matthews won. We needed that seat. And so that's something that didn't please me. But I am pleased that we have a new governor. There are some things that are really positive. We really have a red state. We only have blue in Clark County and Washoe. But when you look at the whole state, and not just those two counties, there's a lot of red going on. You have to listen to the people. That's what our job is. So as we continue to listen to each other and we continue to move forward, people will start to understand that we have the best interest in mind. We have our best interest in mind. And we do want to get down on the bottom line, on the ground floor, to make life better. Just regular, everyday, ordinary people. We want to talk about things that us. We want to talk about the economy. We want to talk about how much you pay for food and gas and how to make your life easier and better. And that's what being a Republican is about. If there's something to hide and everything, give us the opportunity to really show that we are there for you and that we do care.
Michael, what do you think? Are you happy with the results, and who do you think deserves the credit or blame?
I am not happy with the results at all. And I think a lot of the blame can be laid right at the Republican Party, starting with the RNC and coming right down to some of the county parties. We always seem to find a way to take a what could have been or should have been a tsunami and turning it into a ripple.
Well, what do you think, whether you're talking about the RNC, the NVGOP, or here we have Clark County Republican Party, you got the Washoe County Republican Party. What do you believe that the party should be doing better? You ran against Michael McDonald 2 years ago. What would you have done different? Of course, hindsight's 20/20, but at the same time, what are some of the things that you think these parties can be doing on the national, state, or local level?
Well, let's look at the state and local first. You take a look at Las Vegas, the largest voting bloc in Clark County is the independents, followed by the Democrats, followed by the Republicans. If you want to win in Clark County, you have to have a whole bunch of independents. But there was little effort of people going out and identifying conservative independents and getting those people to talk to candidates and getting their votes.
Well, if you don't mind, I know that I did a lot of campaign events. I covered a lot of things. The single best event over the past 2 years is when I brought Sam Peters to a trunk or treat. It was not a campaign event. We were just giving out candy, and I was introducing them to the parents of the kids that I teach. And it was the best event. It wasn't just Noah and me and Tavorra at Stoney's for the 10th time in a row. It was people that never expected to see Sam. It wasn't like a big rah-rah, you got to vote for me. It's just, hey, I'm Sam, nice to meet you. And he really got to meet over 100 people that weren't part of the Clark County Republican Party or the same people who are going to vote Republican anyway. And I think maybe that's what you're alluding to, trying to reach some of the people that aren't rah-rah Republicans.
You have to. We got to get away from saying, okay, if you're not a Republican, then you're a traitor. Or if you're a Republican and you're not a hardcore Trumper, you're a traitor. And that happens a lot, unfortunately.
It does.
Drives people out of the party. What we need to do is get out there and find all those conservatives who are not members of the party and get them to vote along with us. They don't have to join, just get them to vote with us.
Yeah, and Noah, I'm going to let you answer the same question, but I'm going to add, I was listening to another friend of mine doing a show, and they were talking about how some of these extreme candidates, and I just automatically thought of you and Joey Gilbert, who, these Republicans, we want the greatest patriot. And then when we hear people like you or Joey Gilbert saying the truth and really calling people to account, it gets us fired up and you turn into being certain people's favorite candidates. But are you electable? You know what I mean? Or do we have to get people like Joe Lombardo or, I love him, God bless him, but Stavros Anthony, a lot more vanilla, a lot more palatable, even though I feel like we need to, get Thomas Jefferson and George Washington and go fight,
Yeah. The reason patriot candidates aren't electable, quote unquote, is not because people don't vote for them. It's because they're not allowed to win. I was devastated by the results of this election and continue to be every single moment when more results come in. If this had been fair, it would have been beyond anybody's expectations. But I'll tell you what, who's to blame? Republican leadership. Michael Jack is correct. Michael B. Jack is correct. The Republicans always find a way to snatch defeat out of the jaws of victory, right? We had how many years to fix this problem? If I'm an NCAA coach, I'm a professional coach, I'm an NBA coach, I'm an NFL coach, I lose year after year. I get the best team, I got the best bench, I got the superstars, the marquee franchise players, and I'm losing game, playoff after playoff after playoff. And I come out and everybody cheers for me like I'm Michael McDonald. Oh, Michael McDonald, mediocre coward Michael McDonald. Give me a break. Step aside. You fail.
Well, do you think, if you look around the country, I thought Nevada would underperform the rest of the country. And it seems like Nevada kind of just was status quo with the rest of the country. Do you think it's a national problem or a state problem? You called out Michael McDonald twice.
It's a national problem. Kevin McCarthy's garbage. He failed. He delivered nothing. Okay, he's got to go. Mitch McConnell, loser, useless, worthless, way past due. Get the hell out of there. You're killing us with your nonsense. Okay, your self-interest, your corruption, your graft, your greed. We don't need it.
Well, right now we have a Senate runoff. You seem fired up, and I don't blame you, and I don't blame other people. But you talk about establishment, or Mitch McConnell's and Kevin McCarthy's, and then you talk about Noah Malgeri's and I just had his name in my head, but the guy from Texas, the wrestler, Iowa, Jim Jordan, and you talk about Bolbert and all these people, and should we be attacking each other, or should we be uniting, or should we both be doing our own thing to get the independent vote?
So all these strategic, after action review, Monday morning quarterback, well, we need to increase outreach with this community and so forth. It's all important. And you can get all the votes you want. And I think we got an overwhelming number of the majority of the votes. The problem is it doesn't matter how much money you spend and how good your outreach is and how persuasive you are and how convincing you are and how many people you get to show up to the polls if they're rigged, right? The number one problem that
it looks like they kicked them off. Yeah. Well, anyway, guys, to be honest, I'm way overtime anyway. We know how Noah feels, and I think the some powers that be, they just cut off his feed. But Tavorra, Michael, and Noah in absence, I think this was a great talk. I really appreciate you guys coming by, and I hope we could do it again sometime soon, all right?
Thank you for having me.
Thanks so much, guys. I'll talk to you soon.
Say hello to your lovely engineer for me.
Thank you.
Yes,
she smiled. All right, guys. And one last thing that I want to do before I let you guys go, we're going to let AG, he's been sharpening his saw and perfecting his craft. We're really enjoying these videos that he's sending to us. And after the gravity of what's just happened, we could use a little bit of levity. This is AG from the Western Journal. Play tape.
John Volpe, Director of Polling for the Institute of Politics at the Harvard Kennedy School, said Gen Z is responsible for the red wave not materializing. They're also responsible for green hair, bad tattoos, and excessive piercing.
Are you serious?
A leftist group called Roots Action launched a campaign called Don't Run, Joe, discouraging Biden from running in 2024, saying it would be a tragic mistake. I mean, after all, Dems do have their newest star to consider.
Hi, good night, everybody.
Donald Trump is expected to announce a 2024 presidential run. Instead, if Governor DeSantis announces he's running, he'll reveal unflattering information about him. He also accused DeSantis of stealing his hand gestures when he speaks and coined the phrase, "Rip off Ron." Stacey Abrams, who actually admitted she lost the race for Georgia governor, cited 2 Corinthians 4:8 in her concession speech, saying she's persecuted but not forsaken. Even better, she's forfeited and defeated. A new security fogging system has been designed to not let thieves see what they're stealing. Fearful Democrats have already insisted that these are not placed near ballot boxes on Election Day. It would appear from undercover footage obtained by Project Veritas that Democrat operatives were illegally electioneering in Pennsylvania.
Anyone need Democratic Party information? You good?
So you're telling me I should vote John Fetterman, I should vote Joshua Shapiro?
If you vote Democratic, all of them are the Democrats. You only got one against one.
Dirty Dems doing dirty things as usual. I'm AG, that's your stories. For more, check out westernjournal.com. We'll see you next week.
All right, guys, so there you have it. Just a quick recap, all right? We have the governor, we have the lieutenant governor, we have the controller. We're about to lose. I guess Noah's already said so much stuff that I could just say they're about to take the Secretary of State and the Treasurer from us, and we already lost the Attorney General. Countywide offices, we've lost District Attorney, Assessor, Clerk, Recorder, Treasurer, and Administrator. CCSD, we have lost all 3 positions. Irene Bustamante Adams, Linda Cavazos, and Brenda Zamora have won. Greg Weeman, nice run. In the Nevada State Senate, it was 12-9 in our last session. I expected it to go. We even had a chance to win the majority. Every single up in the air race went the Democrats' way. They're guaranteed 12 to the Republican 8 with 1 up for grabs. And that 1 is Dondero Loop. Now has a 0.66% lead over Paulos when Paulos has been leading the entire week. I almost called it for him but didn't. Now it seems like he's going to lose. We're going to lose a seat in the state Senate. In the Assembly, I told you that the Democrats had 17, the Republicans had 14 with 11 up for grabs. It is now looking like all 11 that were up for grabs are going to go to the Democrats. So they're going to end up with a guaranteed 25, probably 28. If the Democrats get every single one of these seats, they'll have 28 to the Republicans' 14, which, yes, indeed, is a 2/3 majority. Meaning they will have gained 2 seats from the last time. Brittany Sheehan said what happened when Trump was here. Trump gained us 3 seats in 2020. We gained 3 seats where the Democrats lost their 2/3 majority. We got it back under a 2/3 majority. It is going to go back to a 2/3 majority, assuming this baloney where Cantor is plus 0.9% over Larson. Gorlow is plus 0.5% versus Jones, Tiffany Jones, which includes Mindy Robinson. I said in an earlier episode, Mindy Robinson did not cost Tiffany Jones the election, thank goodness. I was absolutely wrong. It looks like that's going to be the cause. And then finally, this one is pretty much in the blue bag already. Backus has almost a 2-point advantage over DeVille right here by me. The whole thing is going to poop. It looks like it's going to be a 2/3 majority in the assembly, meaning we lost 2 seats in the assembly and 1 seat in the Senate. Not going good. I don't know what's going to happen. But we can't give up. We can't. Can we? Are we going to move? Move to a different country? Move to a different state? I mean, we have to keep going for our country. And I'm going to keep going. I hope you do too. All right? I'm on Twitter. Look up the Johnny Brew Show. I don't know what I'm going to do or if I'm going to participate. But I signed up. I'm going to see what happens. If you guys give me some support over there, maybe we can expand our brand and expand your reach. All right? My name is John Brookhagen. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to check out Infinity the Math Institute. Thank you so much to our veterans. Thank you so much to the candidates who ran and won or lost. I know how much and how hard you guys worked, and God bless you guys, all right? My name is John Brookhagen. Thank you very much for watching.